Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this Village Board of Trustees Committee, the whole meeting on October 13th, 2025, opening at 6 o'clock p.m. Could I have a roll call?
Absolutely. Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova is not present. Trustee Constantos.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar is not present. And Trustee Sabri.
Here.
Okay, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. Okay, good evening, everybody. So we will go ahead to item 3 for a discussion on the Village of Villa Park website. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. For this hour, or however long we go through this, we're going to just have a free-flowing discussion about the village website and any improvements we can make to it, any suggestions we'll take from the dais, as well as if we have any of our constituents that reach out and say any other improvements that they can see us doing and performing in the near future. So with that, I would turn it over to HR Manager Dan McCann.
Last call.
Good evening, everybody. So we were asked to give a little bit of a brief presentation on some of the plans we have for the village website. So some of those plans, we realize that it's very difficult to find stuff at times on our sites. It's a little difficult to navigate. So we have some plans to basically change up the functions and change up some of the tabs and change where some of our information is stored. So one of the main things we're going to do is we're going to remove the transparency portal. We kind of found that that portal's kind of become, you know, a place just to kind of put everything, when in all reality, almost everything in that page could be linked to a department or a service. So what we're trying to do is get everything in the right spot, so when someone is looking for something, they can go to a specific service and find what they're looking for, instead of going through the transparency and just searching through documents that are kind of all over the place in a way. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to create a human resources page. Currently, we really don't have one. We just have an employment page. So one example of removing that transparency, the human resources page will now have employee contracts, union contracts, anybody that's working for the village that's being employed by a temp agency, whatever it might be. Anything employee related is going to be in that human resources page, along with our insurance benefits, life insurance, health insurance, wherever other policies that relate to human resources will all be in one spot. So instead of going to multiple different spots to try to find these documents, if it involves an employee, it's going to be in the human resources page. Same thing with finance. If it involves money, it's going to be in the finance page. If it involves a street repair, it's going to be in the public works page. We're going to try to organize it where basically if you can get to the right department, you're going to be able to find the information you're looking for. Along with that, the government page, we are going to restrict that down to just government, meaning like the village board, committees, police and fire commission, that type of stuff. Anything that's more government related would be under government. And we're also going to include some photos of all the people here up on the board. We're going to have, you know, quick link contacts with your picture there, so people can go on and see who their board members are pretty easily. More of a visual thing. They recognize you, who you are. They may not remember your name, but we have everything. We'll have everything in there. So with that, we're also going to be updating the police department and fire department page. Recently, we updated the Parks and Recs page. So when you navigate through our site, you have the main page, and then the Parks and Recs page kind of looks similar to the main page with more options, pictures, looks a little bit nicer. So we're going to do that same thing with the police and fire, because there's a lot of stuff that people, especially the police department, there's so many different options that people go to whether it's to pay a ticket or look up something police-related, whatever it might be. So overall, that's what our plan is to try to completely reorganize the site. We're kind of looking at some other towns in our area that have already done this and already made the changes, where instead of departments, there'll be services, for example. And you know, police is a service, fire is a service, public works is a service. Government's gonna be more on village board. There may even be a business page that relates to business stuff. And, go from there. So, at this point, I think it's best I turn it over to our communications experts. And, they're gonna go over some of the changes that we can make, being that we're in Civic Plus. Because we are kind of limited on what we can do. I was gonna go at the end, with some of the stuff that we are changing, there is gonna be a cost effect to it. We do have $15,000 budgeted for next year to make these changes, because the website, there's developing needs to be done in order to make some of these changes. And that's the quote we got, it's approximately 15,000. So I'm gonna turn it over to Riley, she's gonna go over the next few slides briefly, and I think from there, we're gonna do a Q&A to see what everybody thinks and see, you know, where the ideas are at, what are we missing, and, you know, fill us in on what you'd like to see on the site. Something?
Thank you. I'm a little short. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. So these are a couple examples from Civic. Again, we've been referencing Roselle as one of the examples. That's in the middle there. And on the other side, these are different examples from Civic. So we get a bunch of different templates from them to choose from. And what they'll be doing, we'll be working with their designers. They'll be giving us multiple examples of different color palettes to choose from and different template styles. These aren't their full pages, but this gives you a good idea of kind of different layouts that we can have. And then Lombard actually uses Civic as well, and this screenshot is highlighting their services tab, so it can give you an idea of things we can put on services, like Dan mentioned, you know, police, fire, public works, anything that would fall under that, you know, our new e-scooter page that just went live under PD as well, so it's more easy to navigate to. And then this is an example of how we'll update the police page. So again, these are all Civic examples, and there are many different options. This isn't a set in stone. This is Lockport's example. So again, when you go to the new police page and fire, it'll be set up similar to our homepage and our Parks and Rec page. So I'll be working with the PD and fire to kind of reorganize what they have, what we think the main thing should be to be in those little circle buttons and anything else. Again, so it just makes things a lot easier to navigate. And this is just a different example of another police department head page. This is Elgin's, and I thought theirs was organized really well. And they have a similar one. This is their fire department again. So it'll be a lot more consistent across the board, but again, they'll still be branded for fire, still be branded for police, but you can tell that it's still going to be all for the village. And this is a 16-week approximate timeline, but we can start working on updating and organizing all the information now. So the refreshed look won't be live for a few months, but again, we can start organizing all the information and consolidating that information now. Yeah. And if anyone has any questions, we can answer the best we can.
Does the board have any questions? Trustee Sabri.
In reference to Lombard page, it's, I have reviewed it, it's pretty user-friendly. What are the chances that we can kind of take some of those drop-down menus and see how they are? Because the information listed there, that you can really quickly see what the other services, and not only the services, as long as their codes, and if you need any permits and so forth, it's very simple and easy to follow through. Is there something very similar to that you were thinking about?
Yeah, definitely. They're an example that we're looking at for sure. And we can work with our sitemap currently and, our codes and permits and everything. We can kind of start reorganizing things now and start creating that new services tab. And like Dan said too, like cutting down the government page. So that's right now, that's all of our, the board, committees, each department. So really the departments won't really be listed there anymore. That'll be under this new service page instead, along with anything else that goes along with that. So it'll be a little bit more streamlined from there.
It's, another follow-up question is the drop-down menu, as you can see in Lombard page, when you go there, you can see the service, then it takes you down to what you're looking for. It just takes you right into that information rather than us. We are looking for, and then you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
So it will be a drop-down menu to the menu so you can see, is that page we have right now or the software we have right now, is it pretty much the same, or is it compatible that we could do the same exact thing?
Yeah, Lombard uses Civic Plus just like us, so we'll be able to do the same kind of setup, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we want to eliminate, the amount of clicks it takes for people to get somewhere. We want it to be clearly seen and not have people rely on the search as much as they are, because their search engine isn't the best within the site. So we just want to make it really easy for people to follow where they need to go on the tabs.
And the information required, do we have all that information on electronic files, or we have to create that, or how long will it take? So that's the question is that how long
Yeah.
it will take?
A lot of it we have, and it's a matter of reorganizing or removing anything not needed anymore and just kind of shifting things around. I'm also going to be working with each department head to make sure that the information we have is the most up to date. So it is a process for sure to make sure that we have all the right information and adding anything new we need, removing anything old that we don't anymore. So it is going to follow along that kind of 16-week timeline with rolling it out. But again, it's something that we're still going to be working on in phases. So it's not going to be waiting, until the end. Like, little things are going to be done, and we can continue to send updates as we start making those changes.
So the templates are going to be there pretty much, and then we can just follow the templates and plug in the information when we need it. Is that the...
Essentially, yeah. So we are going to be picking a template with Civic, and they're going to take all of our existing information and put it into that new template. But then, like myself and Lily, we can be reorganizing things from there. So again, it's kind of we can start work now, and then there'll be a little like stopping period with them where it's like, okay, you've made all your changes you want. Now don't do anything for a few days. We're going to put it in this new template for you. But then once it's live, we can still even make changes from there.
I think part of it, on some of our pages, we have the same information in multiple spots. Yes. And it's making the website harder to navigate because it's adding more information than what's necessary on certain pages. So it's hard to see up there, but when you hover over the police, all your little categories are going to come up and you can go right to where you need to go. Or you just click on the police page and you're going to have all your police-related stuff. Same thing with finance. Finance is going to be a big one. Public Works will be a big one. And community development will have a lot of stuff in there. A lot of these documents are in our website now. You just can't find them easily. So if we can at least get everything in the right, the right spot, the right department, the right service. If you know you're looking for a fire department thing, go to the fire department page. It's going to be on that page. You're not going to have to look over the whole website to find what you're looking for. So that's the goal. Like Riley says, it's going to take a little while.
Yep.
Just each page developing, and some of it is on Civic's end too, to redevelop. Like right now, we don't have a services page. We just do everything under departments or government. So that stuff's got to be edited, and all those pages got to be edited before they're put in that spot. So for a while we're working on it, we'll be working on it, but it won't be public, right? So we're going to be working on the background until everything's perfect until you release it. So you may not see any updates like right away. That doesn't mean we're not working on it. We're working on it in a draft mode until it's perfect, and then you release it. So
Yeah, and if something's like actually incorrect, then of course that'll be updated in real time. But otherwise, we're working on things in stages, and we can send updates as we have them too.
Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. One of the things that I've noticed in or on sites for other municipalities and just in general, like for school districts, is they will often include social on the site as well, and it would be pretty prominent because we are in a visual world now. I'm sure I don't need to tell you guys this, but I'm wondering if I know that Lombard has that. I assume that Civic will have that capability to be able to add those social components for us so that it's right there.
Definitely.
People can see that.
Because right now it is on our homepage, it's just kind of hidden and not in an ideal spot, so definitely want them to update that widget for us. I actually really like Lombard's, how it's in that top corner. It's on our Parks and Rec page as well. Again, it's just not as prominent, but the Parks and Rec page does have the Facebook icon at the top, but we just need to make it more prominent on ours.
Yeah, they also have it embedded so that you can actually scroll through it.
And we should be able to do that as well. There are different plans with Civic, so I don't know what each municipality plan has, but if that's included with ours, I think embedding it would be a great idea.
Sure.
But definitely in the top corner for sure.
Okay, and then can you also speak to what it's like to maintain the site after it's all set up? Because I know that's the other component, right? Like, that's what we hear. That's what I think might be a frustration for staff, is just that the maintenance part of it, where we have to keep that information current. What does that look like, and what's the plan to keep that current?
Yeah, I think something that I want to start doing are maybe monthly and quarterly check-ins, maybe with department heads, to just make sure, because again, there are so many pages, and, pretty much just anybody sends me anything to fix, then I try and do it in real time, pretty much every time I'm sent something. But I think having some more regular check-ins with staff, to make sure that the information is up to date and make sure we get documents added where they need to be, and anything else like that. Otherwise, I'm checking pretty constantly. There's just something we find every day.
Thank you.
Of course.
Trustee Constados?
Thank you. One thing I would like to see on our website is something with like a business listing for the businesses in our area, if that's at all possible. I think that would be nice to not only show support for our businesses, but when somebody's in town, like I may be like, oh, I'd like to get a massage or whatever, spa day, whatever. And sometimes you see people saying something on Facebook and they're like, well, we have that. And I'm going, really? Where? We're not all aware of every business that's out there. So maybe some sort of a business listing might be nice. I know it might be a little hard to maintain as businesses come in and out. But that's something I would like to see if we could look into. Also, the permit section seems a little, for me, that's really hard to navigate. And I think for residents, it's hard for them to understand. It's very vague. It may say drywall, but doesn't state how much drywall. Are we talking one piece of drywall, a whole room of drywall? If we could maybe give just a little bit more in depth of a description, so it's a little more clear and residents understand it a little more. Sometimes they don't want to reach out as much. So I think that would be something great maybe we could look into. I think you guys already talked about staff directories, which was one on my list as well. And then just another suggestion, it's nothing big, but maybe think about maybe doing like an employee of the month type of thing. Might be nice to recognize our staff as well on a monthly basis, even if it's where other employees, maybe nominate somebody for the month or whatever. I think it might be something nice to give back to our staff.
Yeah.
So just a few ideas that I kind of had and wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, and I think something with an employee of the month thing might be suited more for social media, because that's what people are looking at more than the website. But I think that's definitely something to consider, and that's where more people would see it, to recognize staff. And in terms of businesses, I thought Michelle was.
Yeah, I mean, the businesses, so a lot of towns, when you're on the village website and you click on some of those pages, you're being redirected to the Chamber of Commerce page. So we have that on our website, but there's really not much on there. I mean there is, but it's some stuff's outdated. It's not as advanced as, some of the towns around us. We are looking at that. We would like to team up with the Chamber of Commerce and talk to them and see what they want to do with their side of it, because they maintain their site.
Okay.
And figure out, where to go from there. Another thing we're talking about doing is doing like business spotlighting through social media.
Okay.
And I know we gotta be careful that we're not picking one and not the other. But one example is, where can you find Italian food in Villa Park? And then we spotlight all of our businesses that can, give you a family, or where you want to visit. So we have a lot of ideas. It's just going to take a while to get this up and running properly.
Right,
and go
right,
from
I
there.
gotcha.
One more thing real quick, we didn't mention, on our website, we do have, as part of our plan, you mentioned the recap, the coloring. We do have, they will be revamping the site itself with colors and all that, so. I know we all love green, but we've got to get some
Yeah.
other colors in there somewhere.
Please,
I mean,
please.
everywhere we go is green. We got to get some, there's got to be a red flower or something going on. So, we're looking at that, because, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Even
have
if it's a lighter
updated
green.
pictures, yeah. Updated pictures, updated colors. Again, we're going to be presented with multiple options from Civics designers. So we'll really be able to make sure it's something that we all like.
Trustee Kumar?
The homepage for me doesn't call out to me as a great homepage. And so I think, we have a lot, we have that one big picture. It would be better to have a little bit more, when people say they can't get information, it's not that you can't find it, they don't want to search deep.
Right.
Right? So you need to have a little bit more information right on the homepage, which is kind of my problem, especially, things that are on Facebook. If we're going to have, if you have something that updates right there on the homepage, whatever happens on Facebook, that's the ideal, right? Whatever you put on Facebook should automatically show somewhere on your homepage. That's like basic kind of web design possibilities, right? So I would have that, I wouldn't say we're going to concentrate on getting that on social media. Whatever's on social media should automatically port to the Facebook part of our homepage. So I think that's one thing that I have as a suggestion. And once you get it, I know it's going to take time because this is an old system that you're bringing into a new system. I understand the time concept. I think once you get what you think is your ideal, I would at that point suggest a focus group just to see what their problems are and to tell you what is bothering them in terms of the set of individuals in Villa Park, maybe, 5 or 10, to sit down, work through it and say, no, we don't like this, we like this, we don't like that, we like that, so that you can get it updated easier at that point. Not at this point, because you're still working on the background, as you said, you're working on the pages in the background, and they're probably going to repeat what you're already doing. But at that point, once you've got your demo and your perfect page, or, well, it'll never be perfect, but, 80% perfect page system at that point. And I'm very happy about the color thing, because the color thing doesn't, the problem with the colors is it doesn't point out anything specifically. And sometimes I think people mainly, when they visit the web page, probably want to register for classes, or I think the app is much better when you go to the phone. It's much better to go through things, but you don't know where to do that on the web page. You don't know where to jump to pay it says bill pay, it looks the same as something else. There are certain things that are more important to community in the page. So
Yeah.
that's why I was suggesting the focus page, so we can focus on those aspects, what is important to the community.
Yeah.
On the board, we probably just look for agendas, right? But the rest of the community probably has different things they're interested in. Streets are a big thing. Public Works is a nice statement, saying Public Works, but people need to know where to find when their street is getting fixed. That's the question most of us are asked on the board. So these are kind of things that should be easily accessible from the homepage. I don't know if you discussed this while I wasn't here, so I'll just put it in.
Yeah, no, definitely, because we can change what these buttons are. We're going to be fixing these top menus up here. So again, it's, a little overwhelming when you look at the drop downs right now. So again, we want to consolidate this. We want to make things easier to find. So these will be a little bit different up top, and then we can change these buttons. We can find out what are people actually going to the most, what makes sense to be a button, what makes sense to be more in a drop down. So yeah, these are definitely things we can change and update.
I believe Civic can give us a report on clicks, on where everybody's going, and that's how we're judging what those buttons should be on the front page.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, that
And
makes
I-
sense, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and we do get reports too, that I can pull and see what's the most searched this month or in a certain time period, what are people searching for the month? So, then that can be things that we maybe switch out, or when I try and put things on news and trending topics, like, okay, if this is what people are searching for the most, then maybe I should put that on the homepage during this time so people find it more quickly. So there's different options that we can do for sure. And again, this is probably going to look pretty different in a few months. We might even get a little spotlight section, similar to how the Parks and Rec page does, which I'll just bring up real quickly. Since this is what we just updated last year, since it was a regular landing page before. So again, this is kind of what we'll be updating police and fire to as well, so those pages will be easier to navigate. The background picture's just not loading, but again, this has a little bit less buttons, and these are things that we can do, and how there's a spotlight section here, so we can add more visuals to our homepage as well.
Yeah, so, and that's what I would say at the very beginning also, that when there should be a running Facebook or whatever, Instagram, whatever's our major running social media, because there's going to be, it changes with the times. So, right? So it's going to change with the times what that is. But whatever you want that is consistent across social media, you might want to just kind of put it on a side of the front page, because that should just pop up automatically. And that also, like, then Autumn Jubilee will come up, right? As soon as I look at this page, I might be going to pay my bills, but then that would be up there automatically, right? So we want to do that. We want to be communicating that way.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes, thanks. Also, just maybe a suggestion for like the front page, maybe having some pictures scroll.
Yeah,
Could be
and that's something
maybe
that we could start doing now as
Something that
well.
would give like some, just an idea. That's all. Thank you.
Are there any more? Trustee Kumar.
One more thing, the strategic plan, which is, my favorite thing that I need updated somewhere in this website. We need some graphic for that updates, that says where we are and where we're going. I think we should do that both with comprehensive and strategic at one point, a single kind of thermometer graphic or whatever. I've been talking about this since the beginning, when we get to that level of precision on the website.
Definitely.
That's it.
Any more comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward with public comments. Are there any public comments? Clerk Lauken, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay. If there are no more public comments, then we will move for adjournment. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
My second.
Trustee Sabri. Okay, we are adjourned at 6:28.
Absolutely. Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova. He's not here. Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Here,
Trustee
Sabri.
yes.
Here.
Okay, we are adjourned at 6:28 PM.
Yes.
Yes, same thing.